at least.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, so like even when I was writing down, like, okay, so let's go back to like the very beginning where when I first decided to actually hire an agency and put together a course. The moment occurred to me while I was on this really huge, massive super yacht in Croatia. So through my social circle, I got invited to Croatia, where you live on a ship and you sail all these different ports. And that's, I mean, vacation wise, that's one of like the more desirable things to do. And I remember me and my buddy were the youngest guys on the ship. We were probably the least successful guys on the ship. And we were also simultaneously like the most fun and the most popular people on the ship, because like the rest of the guys were very successful, very wealthy, and owned companies, but were, 20 years older than us. And we're on the trip because they all wanted the same thing we did, which was, fun experiences. But they, everybody was basically single on the ship. There's like 30 of us. It was half guys, half girls. So it just like kind of like goes to show that money wasn't really like so there's like a couple of things I realized in this moment. It's number one, social circle. Like I would have never been in that environment if it wasn't for social circle. Like I definitely did not belong on that ship, like in an ordinary sense. Um, and then the second thing that I realized was that money alone is not the answer. Definitely isn't. 100%. Like I said, we were the least, financially successful people on that trip, but we were the most, I guess you could say like reproductively successful. And like, it just occurred to me that some, intention and direct system and strategies what led me here. And I was standing on the front of the ship and I was like, okay, this to me was the tipping point. This was like where in my mind I was like, okay, like if I've made it this far, and I'm not only like, leading people on this vacation towards, better dating success, but I'm also here like on a discount. I'm not even really paying for it because I couldn't really like, we couldn't afford it. We weren't there because we could even afford to go. They just wanted us to go so bad that it was like they just made it as cheap as possible for us to go. So I was like, okay, this is really the epitome of what like, social game is all about, because there's just these mutually beneficial interactions between people. There's a mixture of key players that have different talents and skills, and it's a collaborative effort, all for the same goal. Some people bring, more to the table financially than others, so on and so forth. So that's when I had my moment where I was like, okay, like the social game is real. And then also I've come far enough where I can probably take all of the videos and all the pictures, like, this is enough proof for myself, and to probably put out there on ads to teach this. So that's where it started. But to like back up, what got me to that point, when I was like sitting down with the agency that I hired, and they were picking my brain, helping me put the course together and stuff, and they were asking me questions. Some of the things were like I hadn't thought about before when they're asking me questions like, how does this happen? How do you do this? How do you do that? And I was kind of like reverse engineering it after the fact that it happened. So like after it was all said and done, I was looking at all based off the questions they were asking me. I was like, what were the key things? And so I didn't know about the ads yet. Like I never had the opportunity to like boost posts or generate inbound DMs. I didn't have, really advanced Sora flyers or ChatGPT. I wasn't even using ChatGPT yet. Like I don't even know if it like was out yet. And like yeah, so early on, the point I'm making there is that like the way that we can do it now, and the systems and all of the tools that we have now make it easier than ever. Like had I had all of these tools and resources, had I known what I know now, like you can just fast track the entire thing. So that's obviously the point of courses and coaching and stuff like that. So the way that I did it, without any of like the actual tools and leverage, in hindsight, I had to basically do it the hard way, which was just trial and error for several years. Was basically, this is how I did it. So when I first like moved to Charlotte, um, there was one friend that I made in the mortgage business that I was in. He was like my office coworker, and we moved in together. And we first started off by just like, I had no idea in the city. He was new to the city as well, and so we just started off by asking the Uber driver, man, like, hey, like take us downtown basically, and drop us off at like the most popular, like, just dude, tell us where everybody's going, drop us off at the most popular venue. Like, we have no idea at this point, we have zero clue. And he drops us off at this like rooftop place that he thinks is popular just because a lot of people get picked up and dropped off or whatever. The Uber driver, he doesn't actually know, he just thinks he knows. So he gets dropped off at this place, and like, we think it's okay, so we start going there, and it's like some rooftop thing. It's shut down now, but that, like, little did I know that that was not even a good place to be going. But that's the issue, is like in the beginning you're kind of clueless. So we went to this place a couple of times. We started to realize this place kind of sucks, and that's when it occurred to us, okay, we need to and all we were doing is kind of trying to talk to girls, hit on chicks, buy them drinks. Like, our game was not good, our game wasn't tight. My opener used to be, this is how I used to open women when I first got started, is I would pre-order shots. Like, I'd go to the bar and I would order like 4, 5, 6 shots, and then I would go up to the girl next to me. I'd be like, hey, excuse me, sorry, we accidentally ordered too many green tea shots. Like, just curious if you guys want to help us, like, just drink these. So basically, we were like pre-buying the drinks as like the opener, which is not fucking smart because it's just not cost effective. It's expensive. It actually works, but it's expensive. So we were doing that, and that was our game for a couple months. But we realized we needed to make a pivot. So I pivoted to basically like asking around, because we knew we needed to go to other places. We needed to ask around other people, like, bro, where are some of the other hot spots? Like, where's other cool places besides this? Because we were just kept getting dropped off at this rooftop. And we started like kind of getting some ideas and some recommendations and information. And then we started kind of collecting Instagrams too. Like, we were getting people's Instagram profiles. And I remember I would like go home, and or later on that week, I was getting Instagrams from strangers, which wasn't something that I used to do. I wasn't in the habit of it, and it wasn't something that I thought was a good idea. I didn't care about strangers. I didn't want anything to do with strangers. I was kind of forced to interact with strangers because I was seeking information, and I'd watch their stories on Instagram. And then I started seeing on their stories places that they were going, and like, the videos and the girls and stuff, and they would tag the venues. I'd be like, oh, okay. So I'm seeing multiple people that I've met randomly posting about this one location. So let's try that next. So we'd go there and be like, okay, this spot is a little bit better. So kind of the same thing, talk to some girls, buy some shots, and then talk to more people, more recommendations. So I was building my network organically, and I was like opening guys just by, guys and girls, just by like asking for recommendations on places to go, because I was legitimately trying to find like the honey pot. And that didn't happen. I slowly built up my circle. I slowly built up contacts, and we go out and we just invite people to come out with us, just to basically hit the town on Friday or Saturday. And at the time, I was getting really into like the pickup stuff. I was getting really into the cold approaching. I was trying to work on my game with the ladies, because the pre-buying the shots thing, I realized, is not smart, because the venues we started getting recommended were a little bit more expensive, and then it just wasn't sustainable. Like $15 each. I was like, it was like $60 every time I wanted to fucking talk to a girl. Like, well, I couldn't keep doing that. So that's partially where I started to solve some different problems with learning routines, gambits and palm reading and fake fortune telling, and just having more engaging conversations from the, memorizing parlor tricks and stuff like that. Um, but it took a long time. Like, it just took a long time for me to build up my kind of team of guys that wanted to go out cold approaching, basically, and eventually finding the place that I was looking for. So I was going out, I found the place that I was looking for, and I knew it because it felt different. Like it just kind of hit different. It wasn't that rooftop thing. The rooftop place was kind of just ratchet. It was just like a popular like tourist spot. Just go get dropped off. The place I was looking for was a place called Vinyl. And so Vinyl is this kind of like hidden gem, kind of hole in the wall cocktail bar. And not many people know about it. It didn't really have like a line out the door or nothing, but it would be busy inside once you got in there. And there's all the hottest girls in the city, like just smoke shows, like just they kept coming in one after the other. And I was like, this is what I've been looking for. And so once I found that place, I basically like went all in on that spot because it took so long. Like I valued it because I'd spent so much time at the wrong places, just knowing I was at the wrong clubs, knowing I was at the wrong bars and just not around the right people. I didn't know who I didn't know, but I knew that the people just they weren't the ones. And so I went out to that same spot. I went all in on that. When I say that, I mean I went out Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night. Like I went to that spot once I finally found it. I was so grateful to find it. I would go Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And I went to that same spot Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday, like for probably 6 months in a row. It was a lot. Like I remember it not being exhausting just because I was so engaged in the moment where I could go in there and I could really practice my openers. I could run a lot of volume. I was getting a lot of phone numbers. And at this point in time, I was going on a lot of dates and I was building up rotations of women. So I was really dialing in my dating. I still only had like a couple of buddies, just a couple of wingmen that would go out to this place with me. But after about 6 months, like I had kind of this rotation of women. The bouncer would not check my ID, not because like he thought I was cool, but just because like checking my ID would have been a waste of time for him. Like he's just seen me so many times that it just takes up more of his time to even look at it. Just he's just like hurry up and like come in here. So it's like you can build rapport with bouncers and venues and staff and other regulars, not even by like being friends with them, like not even by having anything in common or being cool with them, but just by physically seeing them over and over and over again. Like there's huge benefits to that. Where now this place called Vinyl was basically it was kind of like my home, is how it felt. It's like my social circle. It was like, I knew the staff, the bartender would just hand me my drink. They'd see me at the bar, they would just fill up. I would get a Modelo. She would just fill it up and she would just give it to me and I would get them for free. Again, not because she thought I was like so cool, but in some instances, it was just faster and easier for her to be like, okay, if this guy's waiting for a drink, I know what he orders. I've seen him a million times. Here, dude, here's your Modelo. Just take it. Like it's on the house. Like I'm not gonna pull out I'm not gonna swipe the thing and do this and for a Modelo. Like people might as well just make it easy for me. And so I started kind of picking up on this. I'm like, okay, like I get let in, like I don't really wait in the lines, like I kind of get free drinks. I haven't really done much other than just like come here a lot. And then also like the regulars, like I say what's up to the dude that I see all the time. I'm saying what's up to other people I see all the time. I'm starting to kind of bring girls with me, and and now it's starting to feel like I'm going to like a house party every time I'm at this place. And I was like getting popular, and I was like, finally feeling good about my social life. And then it really started to kind of kick up because now I was showing up to the venue with girls, and now I was walking in with girls, and then the bouncer would give me the drink and the girls would be like, what the fuck? And I'd be like, so I kind of could tell that there was this momentum that was being built up and that there was something to it. But I still didn't really like have that paradigm shift. So when the paradigm shift happened was I was on YouTube late one night and I was watching a video from Alex playing with fire. He's the Tinder guy. You guys know Alex from Playing with Fire probably on YouTube. And he had this like weird guest speaker come on his podcast, and this dude's name was Mufasa. So Mufasa is this like kind of ambiguous underground like social coach, or I don't know what he was. But he was talking about, the Mufasa guy was talking about how he lived in LA and he would go out during the day and he would cold approach yacht owners. He'd cold approach yacht owner guys and he'd say, hey man, yeah, this might be random, but I've got about, 10 or 15 of my really attractive female friends that are looking to do a yacht day, but you know, a friend of mine that had a yacht sold his. So I'm just looking for a new yacht friend that wants to team up. And so I was like, hold on a second, that's fucking crazy. Like that's genius. So get the yacht owner bought in. And then once the yacht owner's like, yeah, dude, like you can hang out with me or whatever it was, then he would go to the bars and then he'd just like cold approach a bunch of women and he'd tell the women that, you know, him and his buddy have this yacht and they're in the early phase of putting together a guest list for a party and asking them if they want to go. So I was like, oh, gotcha. Okay. Because I kind of like evolved past the pickup game. You know, I had rotations at this point. I had some popularity and status at a venue. The drinks were free. Like, and the pickup artists weren't telling you, like, weren't really talking about that stuff. And that's when I really like it cracked my mind open to this whole idea of like value arbitrage, you know, social game, you know, using leverage and all this different stuff. So what I started doing is I started paying attention because I was thinking like, well, I'm not going to go up to the lake and cold approach yacht owners, but maybe I can find a guy that owns a yacht because there's yachts in Charlotte. You know, I know there is. It's on Lake Norman. I haven't been out there and tried it yet, but I want to see it for myself. So that sounds like a fucking dope idea. So then I was kind of like my reticular activator system, my selective focus, like moved away from like my next cold approach for like a girl into like, okay, where are like some important like high status men? And so I was just looking now, and it was all there in front of me before. Like it was always there. I just wasn't really looking for it. But now I started to notice. I was like, okay, dude that is in his like, you know, either 40s or 50s that pulls up in the Bentley and shows up with girls all the time. Who's that guy? That's interesting. You know, like that kind of like something registered for the first time. So I said there's this one guy. I saw him one time, went back the next weekend, saw him again. I was like, okay, I'm seeing this guy again and again. I was like, I gotta just like, I don't know, I gotta just like approach him or something like that. So I did. And there's one night where he was at the bar. I walked up to the bar and I went up to him and I said, dude, I don't think we've ever met before, man, but I've got a really funny story about you. So that was like my opener. And he's like, okay, yeah, like what's up? What's the story? I was like, yeah, man. So like just the other night I was sitting here and I couldn't help but notice that you know, you left, you know, you were leaving, you're on your way out and you had like two girls around your arm and they both got into your Bentley and then you guys drove off into the distance. And I had this thought to myself, I was like, who the fuck is this guy? And so he laughed and he's like, oh yeah, you know, that was me, blah, blah, blah. So it was kind of like, you know, it was friendly and it was complimentary. It's kind of a funny story. It's not that funny, but it's kind of funny, I guess. Like it's just conversational. And so we got into convo and then I was like, you know, we were talking, and then I was like, by the way, you know, meet a couple friends of mine, because there was a couple of girls that I knew that were there. And they didn't know that I didn't know this guy, but I was like, hey, you know, I brought them over, introducing to some girls just to like social proof myself and just to show that like I'm not just some random guy, like, and maybe I have a good mouthpiece, but there's more to me than that. Like I know people. And so I wanted to demonstrate that in real time, which I did by making that quick introduction. And you know, he's wearing this like big AP and he's, you know, he's just clearly, you know, does well and all this different stuff. So I said, yeah, man, anyways, like, you know, we're out all the time. You know, we've always got a good crew with us. So if you're ever out and about, you know, hit me up and we'll link up sometime. And he's like, sure. So I got his number and then I got his IG. That's it, you know, took his number, took his Instagram, and then went about my night. And then when I was looking at his Instagram the next day, you know, kind of as I would do, you know, I'd wake up the next morning after a long night out, kind of go through all my new contacts, you know, check out, because I'd close like 10, 15 IGs in a night sometimes going out. And so I'd go through the next day and like try to remember, like, fuck, like, who are these people I met last night? You know, sometimes it was like a lot of drinks or whatever. So I just go through all the girls, I'd go through some of the guys. And then I remember going to his, and I went onto his IG, and it was a pretty bad IG. But at the very bottom was this like, you know, far out picture of this like really big boat. So I was like, oh, dude, okay, like this guy's got a yacht. And so that's when I knew kind of what to do from there, which was send him the message that I learned on YouTube, which was pretty much the exact same script. Is I said, basically said, I have the text message somewhere. Like I had it like saved and I had it foldered and I wanted to put it in the archives for just like to frame it one day as like memories. But I sent this message to him and he was like, "Hey man, uh, this is gonna sound random, but I've got about 15 of my super attractive female friends looking for, like trying to like go on the lake or something on Saturday, and I've got no clue where to put them. Any recommendations for me? Do you have any suggestions? Like, do you know anybody?" And I think his response was like this guy with like the sunglasses emoji or something like that. And yeah, it was that weekend that I set up my first ever yacht party. And so we texted about it, and he was like, "Yep, like here's the address. Pull up at 1 o'clock." Um, and yeah, so then it was basically at that point that I reached out to all the women that I'd met, all the way up until that point. This was the first time I ever sent like kind of like a copy paste text message to a bunch of girls, and it was a yacht party invite, and the response was insane. All the girls that were like ghosting me, or all the girls that were kind of falling off, all the girls that I really wanted, they all got back to me. Like they all responded, and it was just yes across the board, just yes, 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 yes. And that was the first time that I ever created an Instagram group chat. So I think I just kind of understood that intuitively. Like I saw other people that had used IG group chats. I'd maybe been in one or two of them. I'd never created one myself. So I took all these girls and I put them in a group chat. So it was me, my friend, and then like 15 girls, and all of them were super hot. So I had it in there and I was like, "What's up, guys? Confirming the details. Like, if you're bringing a friend, add them into this group. We're trying to keep track of our head count." Like, that's where these messages like come from. It comes from like a real, like it hasn't really changed much since the first time I ever did it, because all I did was just repeated what I did in this process. So it all came from just this like one time. And add your friends in if looking forward to it or whatever. And then I took screenshots of that group chat and I sent it to the guy at the boat. And I was like, "Hey, man, just, confirming for Saturday, here's our list." And I think it was the first time anybody had ever actually like done that for him, where he invited me and I sent him a guest list of 2 guys and like 15 super hot women, which you can see because it's on Instagram. Like the profile pictures are there. And I remember his response was like, "Holy shit." Like, he's like, "Are you serious?" Question mark. I'm like, "Yeah, bro." Like, yes, this is real. And long story short, we did this boat day. I actually decided to have someone that brought a camera. I went into a Facebook group, photographers of Charlotte, and I just said, "Hey, we've got a yacht party coming up, bunch of girls, really nice boat, looking for a photographer. Don't have a budget for it, but if any of you guys are, just getting your portfolio built up or just want to have a good fun day, hit me up." I got a ton of requests. Ton of photographers wanted to do that for free, and just put it in a Facebook group on Charlotte photographers. So I got a photographer for free, and we made it happen. Yeah, all the girls showed up, photographer showed up, boat was ready to go. Boat guy was super excited, like super happy, just super grateful, like had probably had boat parties of his own and maybe even like given guys a chance to bring people on there. But nobody had really like curated a nice guest list, kept the ratio super fucking low, brought the photographer to come take pictures of it. Like it was a fucking movie on that boat. Like that day it was insane. Like everybody was taking pictures, everybody was happy. Everybody was happy. And it was for obvious reasons. And that's what kind of unlocked this chain reaction, this chain of events where in my mind, I was like, "Dude, fuck, man, copy paste text messages for parties and events. That's all I do. And that's all I'm doing now. Creating group chats full of women and bringing them to parties. That's all I'm doing now." Because the boat party, it's crazy, dude. The girls were fighting over me. Girls were getting pissed off that I wasn't giving them enough attention. They were like thanking me afterwards, asking me when the next one was, saying like, when do I get to hang out, just you and me, like asking me for dates. Like it just was a whole new world, man. Just a fucking completely different lifestyle. But even more important than that, Boat Guy started basically inviting me to do stuff that he was doing, whether it was like, you know, steak dinners or whatever, because now we were friends after that. And he started introducing me to some really, really, really successful people that were on his level. So now I'm in this circle now where I'm sitting at tables where I'm the youngest guy there by 20 years, you know, and everybody's kind of getting introduced to me as the guy that filled up my guy's boat with 15 girls. And so they're all like, oh, okay, sick. Like, nice to meet you. I'm like, yeah, man, nice to meet you as well. They're like, what do you do? And at the time I was just in mortgages. So it wasn't impressive, but that's not why I was important. Like, I was important to their circle because now I was kind of this dude that like had this access or just somehow had this ability to put together these group chats of all these girls and bring them to places, which it's easy. All I was doing is going to the bars and just getting fucking phone numbers. Like, that shit's not hard, you know? Like, I guess some guys really struggle with cold approach. Like, at that time, at that point in time, maybe I did at one point. Like I said, I was pre-buying drinks and whatever. I thank God I got away from that. But um, I wasn't putting in that much work. I'd just go, and it was easy for me because I'd go out and I'd just feel like I'd have conversations with women. And then at the end, I'd be like, "Have you guys been on Lake Norman?" They'd be like, "Yeah." Like, "Have you guys been on the yacht parties on Lake Norman?" They'd be like, "No." They go, "Oh, well, you guys should try it out sometime. It's really fun." And they're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "You should find a dude that can get you on there." And they're like, "Yeah, we should." I'm like, "Okay, well then get my Instagram." So it was just easy to get Instagrams. Like, everything became easier. Like, everything became more effortless. So anyways, I'm getting introduced to these you know, successful people, and that, you know, some of them were kind of like less successful than the Boat Guy, and some were like more successful. And that's ultimately how I ended up, you know, one of them was really, really, really successful, owned this uh there's something to do with like car dealerships, like a phone training service for car dealerships all across the United States. Just unlimited money, like just basically like unlimited money. And that's the guy that said, well, you know, your reputation precedes itself. You're coming to Europe. We'll see what you got. I was like, all right, let's go. So the fun continued on in Europe, where it was just the same thing. Just go out in Europe, go meet girls that were French. Maybe some of them were like Norwegian, and we'd walk up to them, we'd talk to them, we'd be like, what boat are you guys staying on? And they'd be like, oh no, like we're just like, you know, we're just staying on the sailboat. We'd be like, the sailboat? Like, you guys aren't on the yachts? They'd be like, no. I'd be like, have you guys ever like actually been on the big ones? Like, have you guys ever checked those out? They'd be like, no. I'd be like, well, you guys should find some cool guys to like show you one sometime. It's just the same fucking script, dude. Like, it's just the same shit. Like, the social game, it's all the same shit. Like, that's why it's so copy paste. And that's where, like, it really is easier than you think. Like, the whole thing should just be leverage. It should just be, you know, the same fucking song and dance, like just the same fucking openings, the same close, the same lead generation. Do it on Hinge, do it in person, do it on Instagram, run the ads, and get into conversations with women, talk about a party or an event, get them slightly loosely interested in the party and event, invite them to something, get a bunch of them corralled up and rounded up, use that to network with other guys. Just use that to network with dudes that have, you know, access, and make friends, attract women all in the same time. All it is just strategy. It's just chess. You know, it's not even about game. And then as the further and further and further down the line I got with running ads and like really being able to just like dissect the systems and figure out, okay, what really works. Yeah, you realize it's way, way, way less about the stuff you thought it was. Like, it was never about the pickup lines. It was never about the routines, man. Like, I laugh at that. Like, I fucking can't believe it. Like, I can't believe I was putting so much effort into it. Like, I just cannot even fucking fathom that I was pulling women to the side to like read their palm. Now, that doesn't mean I don't do it. I'll do it once in a while, like if I'm at a party and you know what I mean? So it's not like it's totally useless, but as this method, like as the strategy, that's like, no, not at all. And so, like fast forwarding to now, I realize it's way more about just like having frame. And it's all just about understanding the dynamics between men and women and understanding that relationships between men and women are a psychological battle between value and interest, who's more valuable and who's more interested. And when you can think through frames, what to say doesn't matter. It's where what you're saying is coming from. That's it. So yeah, there's little techniques to have more charisma or just, a little more humor. But if that's what you think the key to success with dating is, like it's not. The key and the ultimate unlock to the success with dating is ultimately going to be your social value, right? Like the way that I'm beginning to date the girl that I'm dating now, that's even a story that I can tell that's valuable too. We saw each other at the hotspot. We saw each other at Vinyl. This wasn't even that long ago. I still go to Vinyl. It's still one of the better places to go. We saw each other. We made eye contact. All the pickup guys would have been like, "Oh, 3-second rule, bro. Why didn't you approach? Choosing signals." No, we made eye contact. We smiled at each other a little bit. I was with my friends. I was actually with Cam. Cam was visiting from LA. I was with Cam, his girlfriend. I think there was another girl talking to me too. We made eye contact. We kept kind of chatting. I was with my circle. We saw each other, made eye contact again. I kind of did one of these things, and that was it. I left it at that because I just knew that the long game was eventually going to benefit me. I think old me would have approached, and I think me approaching, I think that would have diminished my success because what happened later on, I didn't approach. I played it cool. I just said, "What's up?" Went back to my friend group. What happened later on, a couple weeks later, I think like 2-3 weeks later, saw her on Hinge and said, "Hey, you're that girl from Vinyl." And she was like, "Yeah, what are you doing here?" I said, "I don't know. Text me." And got her phone number. Started texting a little bit and then said, "What's your Instagram?" Got her on Instagram. So good thing I had really awesome photos from fucking Croatia and Europe and all that shit on my Hinge profile because those were the first pictures she saw of me. And then got her phone number and then I got her on Instagram. Good thing when I got her on Instagram, I had sick photos and lifestyle, Croatia, Antarctica, all that, because now she's seeing my Instagram. And then I invited her on a date and we went on a date. Good thing I'd been on fucking 500 first dates at the same spot because I ran it like a fucking professional. Like it was clean. And I remember what she said. She said, "I normally do not even kiss a guy on the first date, nonetheless have a fun time on the first date." She's like, "This is the best first date I've ever been on." I said, "Of course it is." And from there, what really, really, really put the nail in the coffin was after our first date, I invited her to the 4th of July yacht party. And this was probably, thank God, this was my 10th, 20th, I don't even know at this point, like probably more than that. Gotta be, yeah, like 30th-ish yacht party. Because this guest list was like, it was one of the best that I did this year, was on the 4th of July. There's a point in time, because me and the boat guy, I'm just not naming, I just don't want to name names, but me and the boat guy, he knows he knows the game. He knows that I know the game and I know that he knows that I know the game. So he'll do a little thing where he stops right after the boat sets off. And he'll say, "Before we go any further, a couple of ground rules." So he'll make his like a statement of authority, so that he can demonstrate his authoritative leadership. But then he says, "And by the way, everybody everybody say thank you to Brian for putting this together and coming together." And everybody starts clapping for me. The entire fucking boat, like 30 people, everybody's clapping for me. And I say, "Thank you guys. Like, don't worry about it. Let's just have a good day." And she was there. And I remember like at that point in time, she was looking at me and I looked at her and I kind of gave her like this look where I was like, "Yeah, like I'm that fucking guy. Like you can see it. And I can see that you see it." And that was, I think, what really, like, that's what did it. So this whole experience of me that she had, right, saw me in person. I didn't approach. Hinge, Moved her off the app right away. Text game, very brief, got her onto Instagram. First date, ran it professionally. Second date, social activity where she sees my status, she sees my value. And then after that, it was just a couple more dates. And now it's like locked in. And I'm getting the girl that I want. Like I'm getting the girl that is like the pick of the litter to me. Like she is the most desirable option. Back in the day, I would have fucked it up. I would have fucking fantasized about this chick. I would have lost my shit and fucked it up along the way and wondered why don't I get the girls that I really like. But that's not the reality now. And I think the moral there is that it's not just the one thing, man. It's not the cold approach, which is like I'm glad I didn't because that makes it such a badass piece of the story where it's like cold approach was definitely not what got me the girl. Not cold approaching actually helped me more. The first date, it's at Barcelona Wine Bar every time. Cocktail bar. So it should be a cocktail bar or a wine bar near to you, ideally within walking distance, side by side, bar stools. And yeah, it was probably like, yeah, like I said, my 30th date at the bar. So while she's there, bartender's giving me my drink without me asking for my order. He comes out with the tab and it's like more than 50% off. People within the venue saying what's up to me. And she's like, do you go on a lot of first dates here? And I said, well, I don't know, maybe. Who's asking? She's like, well, it seems like you do. Like how many first dates have you been on at this place? I'm like, I don't know, like maybe like 2, 3, 4,000. Again, like who's asking? So like these things matter. Like these things help you. So it wasn't the approach. Hinge, did it have something to do with it? Yeah, it did. Did text game have a little something to do with it? Yeah, it did. Did Instagram have something to do with it? Yes, it did. Did the yacht party have something to do with it? Yes, it did. Did the dates have something to do with it? All of it. That's what it takes. So that's like, yeah, that's crazy. I've never really gone through the whole like beginning to end process, but that's I think that really puts like a really nice like bow on it and really paints the picture. It was a journey. And I don't know if that answers the question, but hopefully that helps. Hopefully that's what you're looking for.
This is the best commercial I've ever heard.
It's a fucking commercial. And yeah, I know. Yeah, man, no, it's like I said, it's so let's just like distill it into two things. So like the main thing along my journey that helped me was the paradigm shift into social circle and collaborative mindset, parties and events. And with women, it was, with the girl, it was that I had like all my tools were sharp, like not just one. It was all just like years in the making, so to speak, with this one particular girl. All of like everything I did, and that's why we do the bricks inside of the group chat, like all the little bricks that I laid over the last 6-7 years. In the time, man, there's times where I was in the trenches, man. I was going out 3 nights a week. I was in the fucking trenches. And every night, like every time I'm hanging out with the girl that I'm kind of seeing now, and she throws a shit test at me or something comes up that I'm kind of shaky on how to respond, and then I handle it well, I'm like, dude, fucking thank God. Like, thank God I went through all of this because I wouldn't have been ready. Like, I wouldn't have been able to do it. Without the yacht party, I wouldn't have been able to get her. And without the understanding of the frame and all that stuff, I wouldn't have been able to do it. It's all the things. And like I think that like we didn't talk about the business side of it or the financial side of it. I think like the main thing that's most valuable out of that, especially when I like start dating this girl, which will probably happen pretty soon. We'll see. Like like she's still on thin ice in my mind. She'll be in Charleston this weekend. Is Brian even still in here anymore? No, I think he bounced out. I've got this big Charleston trip. She'll be coming with me this weekend. Um, yeah, it's a fucking success story, dude. Like I'm walking this shit myself. Like I'm still on the path. Like I'm still you know, a walking, talking, yeah, like living proof that, and I'm telling you guys, I've experimented with everything, and I can unequivocally say that, unfortunately, yeah, it's all of it, right? So that makes it kind of tough. Like you have to do all these things, but it's repeatable. I think what I've done and what I do is super repeatable. I've always said I'm nobody special. I'm a fucking super normal guy, totally average. Even my physique, like I'm in pretty good shape, but there's guys in this call that have, you know, that are like stronger than me and stuff, you know, like I'm not special. So it took up the entire hour. But yeah, I saw what you said, Austin. Yeah, I might have to clip that one and put that on YouTube. That might have to be my like origin story thing that sits on the channel forever. Any final thoughts? Any other questions? Anything we want to discuss before I hop off here? We're at the top of the hour and I'm kind of back to back, but anything anybody wants to chime in and say real quick?
Yeah, I was just curious what you meant by the, keeping it professional on that first date or whatever.
Oh, not keeping it professional. I was the furthest thing from professional. I ran it like a professional.
Gotcha.
Like somebody that has been on a date more than one time and knows how to fuck. That's what I mean.
Yeah, feel that.
Yeah. I would not recommend keeping it professional. I'd say do the opposite.
Yeah, that one I was just figuring. I was like, there's no way. So
Yeah, no way. Do the opposite. Manifesto. Yep. Fuck yeah. All right, that was sick. That was a good call. Yeah, thanks for asking that, man. Thanks for asking that question. That's yeah, thanks for letting me go on that rant and get that all out there. I don't know if I've done that before. That was a good one. Appreciate you guys, man. All right, I'm gonna wrap it up. I'm hopping on the next call here. You guys have a good fucking weekend, man. Hit me in the Discord if you need me. I'll see you guys in there.
Thanks,
Take it
man.
easy.
Thanks, Ryan. Thanks,
Well-
everyone.